Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome over here to a, sort of update video, but also, a summation on what's going to happen in the Philips Cup Series Season 9. I gotta say, my goodness, how long have I been away? Well, probably, if you've seen the Dascar Facebook page, I posted something on there a few weeks ago. Well, actually, that was already a month ago as well. So, I've been quite busy with a whole lot of things. First off, testing tracks took a little bit longer than expected, but the thing I've been but the thing that's been most problematic is the Dascar Rally Championship season finale, because I still haven't gotten time and motivation to do that, and that is necessary before we can upload the sign-ups video and start the Philips Cup Series Season 9, simply because there's one more reserve spot to be given away, and that is indeed to the champion of the Dascar Rally Championship. But I will do that one next week. Maybe if I have some time today. I do have time. Maybe I will make a start of it today. But it will at least be done before next week, Thursday or something. Friday, I don't know. I'm not going to make any promises on that anymore. So that's the reason I've been away. The reason I make this video is because I think first off, it's actually two reasons. First off, I think you deserve to have a little bit of an update if you don't have Facebook, if you haven't liked the Dascar Facebook page, if you haven't seen my post. I think you deserve a little update on what's been going on the past 2 months. And also give you a little bit of a heads up what is coming in the Philips Cup Series Season 9. Normally I do in the sign-ups video, I explain everything that's going to happen, all the things, and there are quite some things changing. But I thought, I think it's better to do it in a separate video, because, otherwise the sign-ups video is going to be around 40 minutes again, and I don't want that. I want to have it much shorter than normally. So that's why this video will also be sort of the information video, the information you always get before we go through the cars. I will refer from the sign-ups video to this video as well. So, if you have already seen it, it's even better. So it's just for you. First of all, what are we going to discuss? I will discuss the planning a little bit on what are we going to do in the next 2/3 weeks, and a couple of changes for next season, how it's going to look. We'll go through the schedule, including the chase system and the heat race system. That will come later. Also the penalty system, which is adjusted this season, and the driver rating system, and more on that indeed will come later. That is something which is quite experimental and new. So all those things are also important for before the sign-ups. So, it's not. Some things are really necessary to know before that, and other things are just for fun. So you have a little bit of a view of how Season 9 is gonna be. So first off, the planning. What are we gonna do? As said, I've been testing quite a lot of tracks over the past few weeks. Sort of months. And the Dascar Rally Championship still has to come. I will do that next week, hopefully, as said. And then after that, we will get the sign-ups ready. All the cars are painted, and all the cars we are going to have available are in the video or in the game as well. So pretty much I could already have done the sign-ups video at this moment if it wasn't for the Dascar Rally Championships season finale. Also, all cars for the Dascar Rally Pro Cup Series, which is coming back again, have been sent, and John is working on them now. They include some cars from Philips Cup Series Season 8, which are not being used, and even some cars of Season 7, so it's going to be a whole lot of fun. Will have a little bit of a nostalgic feeling. Once again, if you are in the Philips Cup Series, you are not allowed to sign up for the Dascar Rally Regional Pro Cup Series, so it's only for people who are not in the Philips Cup Series to work their way in the Philips Cup Series, just like last season. pretty much not a whole lot is going to change on that side, except for the working together will be a lot closer this season than last season, even closer. So that's a whole lot of fun. So let's now go through the schedule. The schedule has also been made already, I think half a month ago, maybe a full month. I'm not sure when it was finished, but schedule has been made. It is currently pretty much official. I've looked at it 2-3 times, and I think it's good. So I don't think there's any need for any changes. So pretty much everything, the whole system is gonna be the same except for the chase system and some other races. But we'll go through every race individually. So there will be single races with single points, races with double points. All races will be either 7.5% distance, so that's pretty much half distance of full race. Those are the sprint races, and the main races will all be 15%. Endurance races will all be 20%. And then there are some races which are, well, 20 or 25% special races. So nothing has changed on that. The comments rule is also still in place, and pretty much I don't think there are a whole lot of change concerning when the comment rule is. So it will be after 6 or 7 races. So first off, we will get a shootout. Yeah, the names are not 100% official, but I don't think I really want to change them. So Red Bull shootout will be hopefully, and I'm very careful in saying this, I hope to get the sign up video for the reserve spot people up next week. That will be up for around 3 days. Then after that, the sign-ups will be closed for the reserve spots, and it will be open for everyone. Even if you have a reserve spot and you have signed up, that's also fine. But we're not gonna have the people who have reserve spots, well, pretty much reserved. And if you haven't signed up by then, you could, well, full is full. And if that is done, then we're gonna get, well, the Dascar Regional Pro Cup Series sign-ups up and ready. And after that, we are all set and done for the Red Bull shootout. So I'm not sure. I want to do it in a weekend, sort of like normally it's on Saturday or Sunday. But I'm not 100% sure if that is going to work out. Otherwise, it might. Yeah, my weekends are going to be very busy over the next few weeks. So we'll see how that will play out. But I hope to get the Red Bull shootout up in about 2 weeks. The Gulf Duel race will be midweek. It depends on when I will have a free day. The previous few weeks I had my whole Wednesday off and also my whole Thursday afternoon. So it will probably then be one of those 2 days. If that is once again going to be the case, I know that I will know what day I'm off in the, well, let's say 1.5 weeks. No, 1 week, hopefully. So that's when the Gulf Duels will be, and then the Daytona 500, of course, 25% race, so that's going to be, what is 50 laps, double points. That will be also, well, let's say 1 week after the Red Bull shootouts. So not a whole lot has changed on there, actually nothing at all. We go to South Boston next for race number 2 and 3, the sprint race and the main race. The sprint race is now 7.5%, both single points. So not a whole lot changed. Michigan is back with the sprint race and the main race, 7.5% and 15% respectively, single points. And then we go to Kyalami, which is a new racetrack. Of course, South Africa. You've seen the very, very controversial Dascar Martini Endurance Series race, which had a very crazy ending. 20%, which means 1 full hour of racing, single points. And after that, there will be the first comment deadline. So once again, if you are new to this, there is a comment deadline. You have to comment on at least one of the races that have been so far. If you haven't done that yet and we reach the comment deadline, will probably be a few days after the, well, for instance, the Kyalami race, then you are out and we are going to get new people in. You could return later in the season, but well, the chances of becoming champion, you're pretty much, no, not actually, yeah, they're pretty much over. So Then we go to Utica. Utica sprint race, main race, and 50%, 50 single race, so that's standard. Then Joltis, the extreme sprint race and main race, exactly the same format. Rockingham, also exactly the same sprint race and the main race. Then we go to Le Mans, the Grand Prix du Mans, which is going to be 20% and double points. So that's also important. For the crosses you see behind that will come in a few moments. It has to do with the driver rating system. So double points. After that, common deadline. Once again, we go to Irwindale, a new racetrack, a sprint race and a main race, 7.5%, 50% single points. And then we got a new racetrack, and that is Volusia, Mud Winter Classic it is named, but this is gonna be a little bit different. I've said it before, we are going to have two or three races. Well, I've already forgotten it. I think it was 3 races, but 3 races which will have heat races because the tracks cannot hold 42 cars. And I thought, well, let's improvise. Let's do it with heat races. So what is gonna happen? Field of 42 cars is gonna be split into 3 groups of 14. Means we get heat races. Depending, the race length sort of depends on what the full distance is. Probably it's gonna be around, well, let's say between 5 and 10 laps or something. Then I've written it down over here. So 3 times 14. Of the 14 drivers per race, 8 will go through to the race. So they have already, if you're finished top 8, you're already in the race. So that's good. If you finish 9th, 10th, 11th, or 12th, you will go to the last chance qualifier. And then if you finish 13th or 14th, you are already out. So you will not race in, in this case, the Mud Winter Classic at Volusia. And as it's a double points race, it's pretty heartbreaking. So last chance qualifier, which will feature, 4 times 3 is 12 cars. 6 of them will go through to the main race and 6 of them will be out. So in total then we'll have 30 cars. There will be the same for the Delaware race and Cayuga. If I'm 100% correct, I'm not 100% sure about that. But if the track can't yield 42 cars, then there's gonna be 30 cars in the race. So that's Volusia. And then Colombia, Carrera de Sprint and Carrera Principal, sprint race and main race, 7.5%, 50% single points. And then we'll get the All-Star race. Last All-Star race was pretty fun, so the format is gonna stay the same, I believe. So I haven't really looked that much into it. That will all come later at that point. But so for now, the format is gonna be the same. Yeah, okay. Then after that, we'll go to Watkins Glen, the Watkins Glen Grand Prix, also a new race. So there's quite a lot of new racetracks in that section, in that part of the season. Watkins Glen Grand Prix, 20%, which means 1 hour race of racing, single points as well. And then after that, we will have a common deadline. Pretty much every common deadline is after what do you call it? A road course race. Why? That's just how things play out. And except for in the one in the Chase, that will be before the road course race. So race number 20, Motegi, the Motegi Superint Resu and the Motegi Omela Resu, which will be 7.5% and 15%, both single points. Then we go to Gorilla Snot again. Yes, it is back on the calendar. The sprint race and the main race, 7.5%, 50%, both single points. Then we go to Delaware Derby, which will also be one of those heat race sort of formats. So exactly the same as Volusia, and it will once again be double points. So a lot of fun, new concept in the series, and that's gonna make it much more fun, hopefully. Then we go to the Nordschleife, the Große Preis von Nürburgring. That's 20% single points after that common deadline once again. And just to make clear, after if one comment deadline has passed, everybody once again will have to comment on at least one race, otherwise you are out. So if you comment on the Daytona 500, you'll be fine. Well, for the first comment deadline, but you will not be fine for the second comment deadline if you haven't commented after the first comment deadline. That makes sense. So then Nordschleife race is gone. We have 2 more events left before the chase starts. The Coca-Cola sprint race and Coca-Cola main race, 7.5, 50% single points. And then we go to Grand Detour, which will be the last event before the chase. The sprint race and the main race, 7.5, 50%. Sprint race single points and the main race double points. So indeed, last race before the chase. Now talking about the chase, it has been pretty much... since we introduced the chase in season 3 or 4 or something, I'm not even sure. Well, it was the old format, so like 12 or 16 cars going, in the top 12 or 16 cars in points going to the chase, and well, racing for a few races, and then there will be a champion. We're gonna do it different this time. We're gonna do it, well, pretty much sort of exactly the same as what we now currently have in the Sprint Cup and all the other NASCAR tier series. Of course, except for the series that don't have a chase, but we're gonna start with 16 drivers. Chase starts 16 drivers. That will be indeed determined on who has won the most races. There are 29 races in the ordinary schedule, so there's most likely gonna be around, well, let's say, I don't know, winning races is very, very necessary. There are gonna be more than 16 winners, 16 different winners, so that's gonna be very important. And well, I don't see it come to points currently, but of course you never know. Maybe there are a couple of drivers who win like 2 races, and we only have drivers who win 2 races, and then we're still 16. Well, let's say then 29. Then there's gonna be 14 or 15 drivers, even if everybody wins 1 race. So there's only gonna be 1 driver with who's gonna get in points. But so win and you're in. That's gonna pretty much how it's gonna be. And that's why the token or the token system is gonna be pretty interesting as well. But back to the chase. Round of 16, we go to Syracuse for a sprint race and a main race, both single points, and then we go to Willow Springs, the Willow Springs Challenge, 20% and single points. Of course, points don't really matter that much. Well, points might matter. If you win in one of those 3 races, you already automatically advance to the next round. If you're a chaser, of course. That's sad. And then we go to the next round. The people that are the last 5 drivers in points will fall out of the chase. So then everything is gonna be reset again, and we will get a round of 11. Weird number, you say? Well, that's just pretty much how things have played out. So 5 drivers go out, and we have 11 drivers left. We go to Talladega, the Dega Sprint Race and Dega Main Race. Both single points, 7.5, 50%, and then we go to Cayuga, which is also single points, and I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure this is also gonna be with the knockout system. The chasers, however, it was a knockout race, but the chasers are locked in that race. That is automatically, so you don't have to worry that if you're a chaser, you're gonna miss that race due to being a heat race format. That will not be the case in the other races. So if you're out, you're out. You can get in. Doesn't matter if you have 1 race. If there's no exceptions made in those other races, but it is for Cayuga, for the chase racers. So then after that, we will have a round of 6. So 6 drivers will be left. 5 drivers once again left. And they will have the famous last word 600, the last race. It is double points, but well, of course, points don't really matter. Well, yeah, of course, points do. Now, points don't really matter. The best finisher of those 6 will win the championship. So easy as that. So that's pretty much how the chase is gonna be. I am thinking, yeah, bonus points. There's most likely gonna be bonus points for amount of races won. So if the round of 16 starts, then we're gonna see, okay, how many if you have won one race, you're gonna get 5 bonus points. If you won 2 races, 10 bonus points, and so on. At the start of round of 16, then we'll have those 3 races, and then round of 11. After that, we will not look at those previous races at the chase, but only the or race 30, 31, and 32. And then if you have won a race, you will get, let's say, 10 bonus points. That's most likely how it's gonna be. For the last race, I'm not 100% sure if I'm gonna do it, or if we're just gonna say, well, everybody same amount of points. May the best person win the championship. So not 100% sure. If you have any ideas on that, well, just let me know. If you have any questions, also just let me know. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say about the schedule. The token system will come later. First, penalty system. Indeed, it has been adjusted from last season. Thanks a lot for the tips. How is it going to be this time? If you cause one incident, we will still have probation penalties and suspensions. Possibly that will all come later. The main thing is that we now have introduced time penalties. So if you cause one incident, you will get a warning, but sort of nothing will happen yet. If you've caused a second incident and you are found to blame of that incident and the previous one, you will get a time penalty. And the time penalty will differ in how bad those incidents were. So if it was in both cases, both crashes were just turning one car around, you will probably get a time penalty of 5 seconds for instance. If it involved multiple cars, 2, 3, 4 something in one race, or in both the races, then probably gonna be a 10-second penalty or 15 seconds. Maybe if it was worse, then it's probably gonna be a 20-second penalty. If you cause another incident, you will also, well, the time penalty pretty much will be either doubled or it will be made worse than that. So it could be possible that you're gonna get a lap penalty. That's also possible, and especially when you are a little bit further towards the back of the field, yeah, then it might be possible that you're gonna just get a lap penalty. For instance, you have a racetrack of which one lap is around 30 seconds. You finish eventually, it's 26 seconds behind the leader, and then you will have a time penalty of 10 seconds. Yeah, 10 seconds, that's gonna be a little bit difficult. You finish, well, let's say 36 seconds behind the leader then, but that could mean that you are still behind a couple of drivers who are one lap down. Pretty much you would have been one lap down as well. So yeah, that's something I'm still doubting about a little bit. It could be possible that we're just gonna say, well, you finish in front of everybody else who is a lap down. It could be possible that you're gonna say, if it is a bad penalty, you're gonna be behind everybody who's a lap down. So it will depend a little bit on the situation as well. But well, for now, I don't think it's gonna be that big of a problem as of yet, but it might be. So I'm going to double think about that, but it is gonna happen. So once again, 3 crashes caused, you will get a worse time penalty, and you will get a probation penalty, and that probation will be for the next X amount of races. So it might be for the next race, maybe for the next 2 or 3 races, depending on how bad the situation was. And if you cause another incident in one of those races, then you could face a suspension penalty, or you could immediately get a time penalty. So it differs once again on the situation. I am going to be the judge. So if you, well, so that's always going to be a little bit difficult. I mean, with people not, not sharing my opinion. But we're gonna see how things work. That's pretty much how it's going to be. So if you have any more questions or remarks, let me know. And then we'll go to the final section, the final thing, that is the driver token. Well, the driver rating system. I've already announced it already a few times. The idea is that you, as a driver, are allowed to pick 4 races in which you can increase the driver ratings by 5. So driver ratings, for you know, are always 40-60, so minimum 40 and a maximum of 60. And well, it differs between that. So then it could be possible that you choose, for instance, the Michigan sprint race. The sprint race and main race are separate. So you could, for instance, choose the Michigan sprint race and the Michigan main race, and you want to up with 5. So then you, for both races, you will have a minimum of 45 and a maximum of 65. Which means that you will be performing better. It will not be that big of a difference, I think, between 40 and 45 and 60 and 65, for instance. But it might indeed pay off. So, well, it most likely will pay off somewhat. So, however, that means, to keep it fair, you can pick those 4 races which you can higher your driver ratings, but you have to pick the same amount of races to lower your driver ratings as well. So if you say, for instance, I want to go to have Michigan sprint race to up with 5, then you have to pick another race, for instance South Boston sprint race, where you have to lower with 5. So then you will have driver ratings of 35 and 55, minimum and maximum, in which you will perform worse. I made a selection of races where you can and cannot either higher or lower your driver ratings, so I'll go through that. Keep in mind, there is a maximum of, well, that's why we call it the token system. There are a maximum of 4 tokens, and 1 token is hiring your driver ratings with 5. However, it is allowed to have 2, 3 or 4 tokens on one single race. So then you will get, well, 5 times 4 is 20 extra, and well, that means that you're not going to be racing around with 40-60 as minimum maximum, but with 60-80. So then you will perform much better. But then still you have to pick 4 races where you can just, let's say, have 4 D tokens in which you will have lower ratings. You can also combine that, and then you will have pretty much the worst car as possible. You will have, not as possible, but you will have, instead of 40-60, you will have 20-40 as minimum and maximum. All put them in one race, and then have those other tokens spread out over the races. That is allowed. You can combine them in one race, or you can spread them out over multiple races. You can also, let's say I want to have one race where I want to put 2 tokens in, and those other tokens in different races, or whatever you like. You have 4 tokens, you can put them in any race you like, at least in the list. But keep in mind, if you take 1 token or 2, you also will have to have the same amount of D tokens, so races where you will have lower driver ratings. There was something else I wanted to say. There was something else. Oh yeah, that's also something. You don't have to pick 4 races. You can also say I just want to have 1 or 2 races where I want to hire, and then indeed you have to lower as well for 1 or 2 races your driver ratings. But you can also say, well, I don't want to participate in this. I just want to have the same thing. So no tokens I will put in. Fine, you will have the same amount of ratings throughout the whole season. That's possible. So it's for you the choice if you want to have 0, 1, 2, 3 or 4 tokens, if you want to spread out over different races, if you want to bundle them in one race, and that's also for the D tokens, the same story. So as said, we have made a selection where you can use them. Pretty much it's only for single point races and not for chase races. So take a look at this. these races are where you can put a token in, and you don't have to choose now. You have to choose well sort of after the schedule is finished. So after both reserve spots signups have been and the normal signups have been. After that, you have a chance to choose. You will have around 3 days to pick races, but this is now for you, so you can already think about it, make a selection where you want to either higher or lower your driver rating. So the possibilities are both the South Boston Sprint Race and Main Race, the Michigan Sprint Race and Main Race, the Groot Prijs van Kyalami, so the Kyalami endurance race. The race length is something we haven't really paid attention to. Race length, it doesn't matter. One token is one token, so you can put it on the sprint race, you can also put it on main race or an endurance race. So, well, think about it, think smart. And you can also say, for instance, well, I want to have them on all the endurance races, except for the ones that are not allowed, like Le Mans, or all the, well, not sure if that's possible. No, you just have to pick 1, 2, 3 or 4 races when you want to have them. So once again, sprint race and main race are separate. So you can have them on the sprint race and not on the main race. That is possible. So continuing, Utica sprint race and main race, you can have them. The extreme sprint race and main race, you can have them. So I'm not really sure how this is going to play. It's all experimental. So pretty curious. Rockingham sprint race and main race, you can have them. Le Mans, you cannot have them. Irwindale sprint race and main race, you can have them. The Mud Winter Classic will also not be with tokens, so you cannot put them on that race. The Columbia Carrera, the sprint, you can have them, or the Carrera Prince Paul, you can also have them. Watkins Glen Grand Prix, you can have them. The Motegi sprint race and main race, both you can have them, or one of the two. The Gorilla sprint race or main race. The Delaware Derby, not, because it's double points. The Grote Prijs van Nürburgring, you can also have them on that race and on the Coca-Cola sprint race or main race. So once again, not on chase races. We want to keep the chase races as neutral as possible, and also not on the Grand Detour sprint race or main race. Well, sprint race and main race. No, not for those races, because it's the race. First off, it's the sort of weekend before the chase starts, and it's also the main race double points. So think about which 1, 2, 3 or 4 tracks you want to higher your ratings and you want to put tokens in, and which 1, 2, 3 or 4 racetracks you want to lower tokens in. If it is still vague, it's possible. Just ask me if you have any difficulty understanding it. If you have any questions, let me know. And that's pretty much all you need to know before the season starts. And I think the format is, I've discussed everything which I wanted to discuss. So keep an eye out for the sign-ups for the drivers who have reserve spots. The list will be put online after the Dascar Rally Championship. The sign-ups will first be made private and put on the Dascar Facebook page. Then after 1 day I will make it public for everybody. But once again, it's only for the reserved spots, so you are not allowed to sign up if you don't have a reserved spot. And even if you do sign up, I'm not going to put you on the list, I'm not going to respond, so it's well your own problem. Then let's say 3 days or something after that, I will make another sign-up video in which we will have the leftover spots open for everybody. Even if you don't have a reserve spot, you can then that is the time for you to sign up. So once again, first I will put it on Facebook link, which will be private, and you can if you have the link, you can then sign up. 1 day later I will make it public, and then the series is full, hopefully. And if you still don't have a spot yet, then I would suggest signing up for the Dascar Regional Pro Cup Series, because after the common deadlines, we will see. I'm not 100% sure if it's how is something going to be. Probably going to be the same thing as last week. So the drivers who are the top drivers in points or something are gonna get a chance to sign up for to fill in the Philips Cup Series. But then of course you have to keep in mind that you lose the championship in the Regional Pro Cup Series. So one thing I do want to I'm still thinking about how it's gonna play out with the win system, because of course if you are out, then I'm currently most likely it's gonna be the same. You have to run all the 29 races to win the champion, or to be eligible to get in the chase. Unless injury, then you have to be in the top 30. So that's pretty much how it's gonna be most likely. So that's, I think, all you need to know. So thank you very much for watching. Once again, any questions, let me know, and then hopefully I will see you in the Philips Cup Series. Once again, my sincere apologies that everything is taking this long, but we're getting there, I promise you that. Thank you for watching, I will see you next time with the Dascar Philips Cup Series Season number 9.